welcome to another episode of How Would I Paint It? This one is on the lavender field, and I have a surprise for you because I painted it, or I did two versions of it. So let's get into it. First thing I like to do is look at the photograph, and looking at the photograph, I noticed that it seems to be about how big the space is. How far back can we go? And the horizon line is very high. It's about a quarter way up from the top, or down from the top. And I noticed too that it seems to be that the fields are dark, and then the dirt is actually a very light color. And so it's mainly dark with a couple light stripes or lines that take us to the back. And then of course the sky and the mountains are lighter as well. The composition seems to go straight to the back, and when I get there, I don't necessarily see a lot as the like when the people are running the maze and they look to the back, what do they get? There's not a lot of cheese there. So that's something that we'll have to deal with in our paintings. Then what else do I want to say? Well, I guess I'm just going to show you the photo that was sent in. The painting that was sent in. And here we have the horizon is good. It's nice and high like before. And I noticed that the lavender in this is kind of reversed from the photograph. The lavender is a light color, and the dirt is dark. So I think that I would rather have it the way that it is in the photograph, so I'm going to switch that back. In this, I can see that the shadows are ultramarine blue. And if I keep that, which I think I will, that means that the color of the light is the opposite of ultramarine blue, or cadmium yellow medium. And so that means that I'm going to need to warm up a lot of things in the light so that it is harmonious. And the other thing that I would say about this is that the same color has been used for the lavender close and far. And that happens because of something called color constancy. And that is our brain's our brain does us a favor and disregards the effect of light and shadow and atmosphere and all these other variables. It just throws that all away and comes up with the real color. And so that's one of the first things that artists have to learn to overcome is our subconscious. We don't even know we're doing it. We come up with a color for everything, and then we tend to just paint it that, and that will make it look flat. So we gotta fix that. And mainly what happens is the colors close to you are more saturated, more vibrant, and as they recede, they become more neutral, and they go toward the middle value, and their edges become softer, and things sort of mush together. And so that's what makes it look far away. So let's look at the first version that I did of this, and I tried to keep true to what the artist was doing, in that I kept the same horizon and I kept the same field in the back. I forgot to mention that that's what she did for a focal point, is she put a yellow field back there. So a piece of color, a little bit of color, can be a reward for looking someplace. In her photo, or her painting, she used kind of a lemon yellow, which, since I've said the complement of the native ultramarine blue is cad yellow medium, I'd rather have the field be more of a cad yellow field, because that would be more harmonious. So that's what I've done in this version that I've recreated. The field is now has more cad yellow in it. And you can see that I've made a definite foreground of the field you can see there's more yellow in the green. And then if you look at the green toward the back, it's more neutral and not as yellow. The same thing is happening with the lavender. You can see that the lavender close has more red in it, and it is more just blue toward the back. And that's how, and also you can see how the rows all just sort of blend together as you get toward the back. That's how I'm creating the space. You might notice that I also changed the color of the sky. And what I tend to do is the sky, I make it sort of relate to the color of the shadow. So I put more of a ultramarine color in it. You can see that it's changed a little bit there. And I went ahead and added just a little bit more of the cat yellow into the lit parts of the clouds. So you'll notice the way that I did the dirt on the ground. It has a warm feel to it because it's supposed to have the cad yellow in it, cad yellow medium. And I didn't make every row the same. That's the thing that we tend to come up with a standard, whatever it is, like, oh, it's an apple, so now all the apples are painted the same way. Or it's a tree and they're all painted the same way. Well, the same thing happens like when we're painting rows. And I noticed that that you really can't see the dirt in the row the same to the left as you can in the middle row, nor can you see it the same as either of those two in the right-hand row. There's even less of the dirt showing to the right of the main row there. So I tried to pick up on those variations because they make it more interesting. So now let's look at the second version that I did. Now going back to the photo that we were given, I noticed that I didn't feel like there was enough of something to focus on in the back. And I thought, there's some nice little buildings that are over on the side. Let's take one of those and put it at the focal point. And I'm also going to make that tree, there's a little tiny tree there, make it bigger so that it's more meaty. And I've thrown in a couple of cypress trees, because this is Provence and they have those everywhere, to make some verticals, because everything's horizontal here, and that will help break it up and make it more interesting right there. And then you might notice there's a couple streaks of kind of an orangey. I got that idea from the photo too, because there's this long streak of light colored dirt in the back, but I didn't go all the way across with it. I just used a couple pieces of that near the focal point to make that more interesting and to stand out. So I'd like to, all that's left is for you to tell me which version you prefer, and I will see you next time. Happy painting! If you'd like to know more about how color works, how paintings work, what makes them exciting, what makes them feel alive and grab people and make them look, I have an online course called Dynamic Painting Revealed. You can find it on my website, paintwithtrisha.com, and I'd love to have you join me. You have a whole year to go through the material, and I give personal feedback on your workshop paintings. Hope to see you there.